Hello, welcome to topic 11 in leadership in the school context. This is a really important topic, and even though we're drawing to the conclusion of the course, it's an area I'd like you to take particular notice of, and it really underpins a lot of the comment we're making in the online discussion forum for that last assessment task. In this one we look at the link between social capital and leadership wellbeing and indeed school performance. There's two readings in here. One's a report, a research report. Lead researcher is a fellow by the name of Dr. Philip Riley. He's been surveying principals in this country, across sectors and across states, and also in more recently New Zealand and Ireland, and monitoring the well-being of school leaders. The report's quite long, 130 pages, so I don't expect you to be able to recite it all, but it doesn't paint a very good picture of school leadership and the well-being of school leaders in this country and other countries. In fact, the trends in the across systems and across states and even across countries are fairly similar. Basically, school leaders are under more stress and suffer more work-life conflicts than the general population. They're more likely to be threatened in the workplace, more likely to actually be physically assaulted in the workplace than the general population. So there's a whole lot of complexities around our work that we need to be aware of and pay attention to. But the bit that's particularly important for this topic is the link between social capital and principal wellbeing. So if you don't get to read all of the report, please go and have a look at the tables on page 88. Behind me here, you'll see them. They're just dot graphs that show the relationship or the correlation between social capital and some of the negative aspects of our role. The important message, I suppose, that in schools where there is higher levels of social capital, there are lower levels of psychological distress, lower levels of demands of the work, lower levels of work-family conflict. So on a whole range of indicators, higher social capital leads to more job satisfaction and better well-being of school leaders. So that's on page 88, but read around that. It underpins a lot of the comment we've been making in the discussion forum over these last few weeks as well. The second reading is one out of the United States, and it relates to social capital and school teachers. And what it basically shows is that social capital improves the performance of students and learning outcomes. So in schools where there are below average teachers or teachers new to the profession, if there are higher levels of social capital in that school, they will perform better, get better outcomes for their students. Conversely, even an experienced and very good teacher who is in a school with low social capital will be brought back to the pack. They won't perform as well if there's low levels of social capital. So those two readings are particularly important for this topic, and I'd like you to reference those quite carefully. If we don't do anything else in this week, be aware of what that section on social capital in the Phil Riley report and the Liana report or paper talks about social capital. It's a nice link between when we introduced social capital last week and we talked about professional capital and social capital being part of it. This is more about now, how do we look after ourselves and how do we get the best from our staff? And it seems there are some clues in the level of social capital, relationships, connectedness that we build in our schools. So I'll leave it at that. Please continue with the discussion forum. I know the unit's drawing to a close, but important that we wrap this one up with some important messages before we move on to another term. Thanks. Talk to you soon.